Hey guys, it's Sunday and it's prep day. So this is going to be mainly about just showing you guys how I prep all of my meals that I eat while I'm on my fast. So for my breakfast, I usually like to eat baked oatmeal with apple slices. For my lunch and dinner, I usually will swap between a vegan chili and a vegetable soup. So I'm going to show you guys how I prep all of those things. All right, so stay tuned. Okay, guys, so let's begin with our oatmeal bake. What I have here in this bowl is about a cup and a half of oats, just rolled oats. You can use old-fashioned ones or, the quick oats, whichever one you want to use. But I have about a cup and a half in this bowl. And to this, I am going to add, this is about a half a cup of raisins and a half a cup of walnuts. So I'm going to dump those in. And then I have here a half a cup of applesauce. So I made my own applesauce too. So it's really, really easy. For those who don't know how, all you have to do is peel and boil some apples. And that's about it. And puree them once they boil them for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then and then puree them. And I just put I add a little bit of cinnamon in mine as well. Then I put cinnamon. This is about a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then salt, half a teaspoon of salt. And then lastly, I have here unsweetened almond milk. So this is about a cup and a half of unsweetened almond milk. And literally, like I said before, this is a dump and mix recipe. You just put everything in one bowl, mix it, and I just want to show y'all how it's looking. So you just dump everything in a bowl, mix it, and there you have it. Just mix it really well. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. It just looks like kind of like a bowl of oatmeal, something. And then get your baking dish, whatever you're gonna bake it in, and just kind of spread with some, baking spray, so that it won't stick. And then you just dump it all in the pan. So literally, it is a dump and mix and bake it. So then you want to kind of spread it out a little bit, just to make it even. And then it's going in the oven. There you go. Okay, so what I have here is I went and got another baking dish, because what I usually eat with my oatmeal bake in the mornings is sliced apples. So how I prepare those is, which I just have a half an apple that I just took the core out of, left the skin on because that's good for you. And then I just kind of proceed to slice the apples pretty thin. So you want to keep your slices kind of thin. Okay, so then once I have sliced all of my apples, I just kind of lay them into, and you don't have to grease this pan or anything. I just kind of lay them into the pan or my baking dish. I sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon. Then I use some apple juice. And while I'm fasting, I make sure that I use apple juice that does not have added sugars and really doesn't have any sweeteners in it. I take a little and then I just pour it at the bottom. I take the apple juice till about halfway up the apples. You want to make sure you get a good amount of those, because it creates a really, really good, while it's cooking in the oven, it creates a really good sauce to go with the apples. And once that apple juice mixes with that cinnamon, it's really, really tasty. So I take the apple juice about halfway to maybe just right at the top of the apples. And then I put them in the oven. Okay, guys, so my breakfast meal, which is my baked oatmeal and my apples, like my baked apples, are done. And this is what they look like coming out of the oven. So the baked oatmeal, this baked for a total of 45 minutes. I bake that for 45 minutes. And then usually what I do is I put this in the oven first because they bake at the same rate. So I put this in for 45 minutes, and then when I have about 30 minutes left, then I put the apples into the oven and let them cook for the rest so they both are done at the same time. But this is what they look like. So remember I was telling you guys how these apples, that applesauce, that little bit of applesauce creates like a good, sauce over top of, I usually just take some and put it over top of my oatmeal in the morning. I'll show you guys tomorrow when I do it. But yeah, I was telling you guys it creates a good sauce, and this is so tasty. And it just came out of the oven, so it's a little loose, but after a while it gets a little thicker, like once it cools down. But anyway, this is what we're working with. So the apples are baked. They're nice and soft, so you can just kind of, break them very easily. And that's it. So that's breakfast, you guys. All right. Okay, guys. So going with the vegetable soup. Starting on our vegetable soup. I've already prepped my veggies. So here I have some zucchini. I have some cut up cabbage. I am going to throw in, I'm going to cut this up, or I'm going to just break it up a little bit and put it and throw that green pepper in there just for taste. I've got some minced garlic over there. And then I have some celery, some green beans, and some cut up onions. And then I'm going to throw these frozen veggies in there too. This is some carrots. This has carrots, corn, and green beans, I believe. And then I like corn, so I'm going to add some extra corn in there. And then to season it, get this out the way. To season it, I have some salt. I'm going to use the vegetable broth. And I use this brand of vegetable broth because it does not, most broths or all other really broths have sugars in them. And so, like I said, I don't like to use anything or don't like to consume any sugars on this fast. So this is the only brand that I have come upon that does not use sugars. So vegetable broth here, and then I am going with some black pepper, some garlic, a little bit of seasoning salt, and then some bay leaves, and then a little bit of thyme. So that's just some ground thyme. So those are our ingredients for our soup. So stay tuned. I'm going to come back and show you how I prepare it. Okay, guys. So in my pot, I had a big stock pot so that I can make plenty of soup. It can hold all my soup. So to this pot, I'm just going to add a little bit of oil, just enough to kind of, maybe a little bit more, so that I can saute my veggies a little, some of my veggies a little. And I'm going to throw my onions in here. And my celery. Okay, and then I'm gonna just kind of stir that around, let it all get some sizzle going. And I'm just gonna saute those just for a couple minutes. Let it soften just a bit. And then what I'm gonna do is While those veggies are sauteing a little, I'm going to add a little seasoning, just a little salt, a little black pepper, a little garlic powder, a little bit of seasoning salt. And I'm going to do a little bit of thyme. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Okay, then I'm gonna stir that in, and I like to put my veggies or my seasonings in at this point so that, you know, the seasonings, the dry seasonings can bloom a little bit. That just brings out the flavor a little bit more. I know some people like to add it after they get the liquid in, but I like for it to bloom a little. That just gives it, that really brings out the flavor in my seasoning. So that's why I do that. And then I will come back in with my minced, or with my chopped garlic. Just a little bit. I only use a little bit of chopped garlic in my soup. And let that go a little bit. And once you put the garlic in, you have to keep stirring so that it doesn't burn. Okay, once my veggies have sauteed a little and softened, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding in my vegetable broth. I still come behind that with just a little bit of water, just a little bit, not much, because I don't like to dilute my flavor too much. And then I'm gonna let that simmer, and then I'll be back. My water, or my broth rather, has just started to come up to a boil. So what I'm gonna do is add in, that's a pretty decent sized bay leaf, so I'll just do that one and maybe a smaller one, and that's it. So I've added in my bay leaf, stir that in for a bit, turn this heat down a little. And then I'm gonna take that green pepper that I told you guys I would probably just kind of break up a little bit, put in there just for taste. Now I'm ready to add my vegetables in. And I'm gonna start with adding in my zucchini. Okay, and then I'm gonna come right behind that with my cabbage. Start adding in my cabbage. You can always add as much or as little as you would like. So I've added in my zucchini and cabbage together because they're gonna cook. They can cook around the same amount of time first. So I'm gonna let them go ahead and get a head start. So I have been letting this cook for about 20 minutes. Yeah, that simmered a little bit for about 20 minutes. So now the last thing I'm gonna do is add my green beans. A few little green beans. Let them warm up. And then I'm gonna just add my frozen veggies. So I'm gonna just add my carrots, peas, carrots and peas, I believe that's all that's in here. And then my extra corn. Just gonna mix that in. Okay, so that's it. And then I'm just gonna let this cook for the last about 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll be done. Okay, well, that's it, guys. That does it for the soup. I just I did the frozen vegetables last so that they could just, because all they really needed to do was kind of heat up a little bit. So I tasted it and everything tastes good to me. You can always adjust it to your liking, but this is generally how I do my vegetable soup. Sometimes I might put a few different types of vegetables in there, but most of the times I'm just keeping it just pretty simple like this. And the bay leaves have been able to cook them. And that's it. That's it for my vegetable soup. Okay, guys. So we're back with my final meal for this meal prep. And that is with my vegan chili. And actually, I have a special set of hands that does this part for me. So he always does my chili. You've been forced?
Been forced.
So guys, actually James is the one who does my chili for me every month when I do this. So he does my vegan chili. So I'm gonna just turn it over to Chef Jay and let him show you guys how he does my vegan chili for my fast. Enjoy!
All right, so I'm going to try to do this quick and get it out of the way so I can get back to my relaxing. We're using tofu instead of regular plant-based meat. Okay, I've done my onions and I'm doing my green peppers right now. Okay, so next thing is tofu. We're gonna drain this, cut it up into small chunks, and then I'm going to kind of grill some seasonings and flavors with it so it'll be already infused into the tofu. So when it's all mixed together, you won't be eating chili with these little bland pieces of tofu in it. So that's what's next.
Perfect.
We've done the tofu, onion, green pepper. You know, we got that all kind of cooked up with the seasonings and everything so that the protein part of the chili is ready. And oh, if you noticed, I've changed. I put on my defending title apron and wear my first place entree medal from the 2017 Taste of St. Philip. So every year at a church we do except last year because COVID messed that up, we do a thing where the men on Father's Day weekend, we all get together, it's a bunch of us, we come out, prepare some type of a meal, either an entree, a side dish, or a dessert. Now I normally do an entree. So this year here, I won for my good old snapper, the red snapper. Yes, red snapper won that year. 2018, I was robbed. You know, they let in a late entry. You know, it was a little biased, I think. But anyway, so 2017, I won. Throw your hands up, throw your hands up. No, but just having fun here, guys. Just wanted you to know that you can, when it's back on, if you're in the area, come and join us and get a good meal for the low with some good chefs. But anyway, I've done the protein, so now the next thing is saucing up your protein. So that's going to be some tomato paste. Once I get that in there, then I'm going to hit it with these petite diced tomatoes, and then we're going to get a good sauce that's going to mix with the beans when that part of the cooking gets done. So hold on, I'll be right back.
Perfect.
Now, here's the final part. It's the beans, and normally I don't have white corn. I'm gonna have to use some yellow corn, which works just the same. But we do our beans, and then we're gonna come together with our red base, our beans with corn, and we will have our chili. So I use red kidney beans and also use black beans, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Perfect.
pretty much it. That's how I do my chili. Might not be how you do yours, but this is how I do mine. So, what's left is the taste test for the person that's eating this chili. This is no meats, no sugars, no nothing. And somebody is going to try her chili. So, technically, my chili that she's eating.
Mine.
And of course, it's good.
Yeah, this is why I just get him to make it, because he makes it better than I do.
Because somebody don't want to do it. But I've learned to live with that.
It's
Leave
delicious.
it alone.
Thank you. So that's it, guys. You have seen all of my meals being prepped, so I'm ready for the week. Tomorrow is day 1 on Monday, so come back and join me so that you can follow me for the week and see how my fasting goes. All right, guys.
Perfect.